Near the rear section of the archaeology site of Chinchero in the Cusco province of Peru are a number of Hanan Pacha monuments that show some very strange animal formations in the stone, particularly at a Huaca called Kusiyukchayok. Here we can see a depiction of an animal that looks very similar to what many would describe as a dinosaur. With a large bulbous head, a rounded body with arms and legs, and a long tail, it looks like some kind of animal from the Jurassic times. Is this a real depiction of a dinosaur, or are we looking at something else entirely? Let's take a closer look at this Huaca, which are called sacred sites here in Peru, and two other Huacas in the immediate vicinity. All three of these Huacas show strange and bizarre formations created by hand, but we have to ask, by whose hand? I found a dinosaur-like image in this Huaca, and what the indications of that would mean is that we are looking at something, if it is a real dinosaur, maybe it is a squirrel, maybe it is something else, but if it is an actual dinosaur, it would seem to indicate that these stones could be significantly older than what archaeologists are telling us about these Huacas. Basically, the Huacas that we find all around, not only Peru, but all around the world, are usually attributed to the latest cultures or ones just preceding them. And in the case of Peru, it's usually the Inca or the Wari or Quilque, which came before them. But anyways, these Huacas also seem to be demonstrating that there is some stone technology, some lost technology that seems to indicate some culture who had the ability to soften stone and basically manipulate the stone with ease. So we would call these OOPArts, which are out-of-place artifacts. And, we don't know exactly if this is a dinosaur or is this some kind of Pareidolia, which is where a rock will look like something like a face or an animal. And sometimes people confuse these natural formations for actual beings. But this one looks like it's directly carved, as the whole Huaca is entirely carved. This is really kind of groundbreaking stuff if these things are significantly older than what mainstream archaeologists are telling us. Seems like I lost a subscriber in my last video, so I hope I can retain my subscribers with this video. Anyways, I just hope you keep an open mind and let's look at this Huaca and examine it for what it is. These first world monuments really look nothing like known Inca or Quilque structures found in the area. The Inca, for instance, used finely hewed to rustic individual stone blocks to assemble functional buildings like temples and housing structures. The Quilque constructions had similar functions, but were even more rustic to the Inca work. On the other hand, these Hanan Pacha structures, with their niches, platforms, curved seats, and organic surfacing, look nothing like any of the work by the Inca in the Quilque. And they also look to be created by beings who had a completely different mindset to those cultures, one not dominated with the need for shelter or for displays of power. Also, it is highly doubtful that the Inca or Quilque, with their bronze tools and pounding stones, could have made the precise angles and forms in this hard metamorphosed limestone. The mainstream story says that the Inca had an unlimited workforce to create such lithic works. But besides the obvious stylistic differences and the incompatible tools, I believe it would have been too labor-intensive, especially as the Inca had an empire to run and were always warring with other tribes. Just when did they have the time to create such structures which are found everywhere in Peru when we are talking about a very short-lived empire? Just one, according to conventional history, of just under 100 years. It just doesn't make sense. These structures were obviously around way before the Inca and Quilca cultures, but how long before? Could these structures be vastly older than the 1,000 to 600 year age that is ascribed to them? And if so, we may be looking at out-of-place artifacts, otherwise known as OOPArts for short. OOPArts are generally described as historical or archaeological objects found in contexts which seem inconsistent with the age or technological level of a known group, often sparking debate about ancient knowledge or human history. Like the dinosaur depiction on this stone, one might also describe the Hanan Pacha vestiges as OOPArts themselves, as they too don't seem to fit in the context of known Inca or Quilque constructions. Could these Hanan Pacha Huacas, which are the oldest stone vestiges found in Peru, and are also found in other parts of the world, have been created at a much earlier time in the past than conventional archaeologists and historians would like to admit? And if so, what kind of being created them? Let's walk around this site and just check out some of the weird features of these stones. Even right here, there's a niche in this rock right here. You can see it behind the flower, and it's shaped like a mountain. And actually, this whole landscape here is shaped like mountains. The famous esoteric scientist Rudolf Steiner, who explored the evolution of ancient humanity by penetrating the Akashic records, said that the ancient Lemurians, one of the earliest races of humanity, could intuitively understand the deepest aspects of the natural world, and with the power of their will could manipulate the elements, even stone, with ease. He described what kinds of constructions they built in his book Cosmic Memory. In the earliest times, they originated the desire to give to the things of nature a man-made form. Hills were remodeled in such a way that the form afforded man joy and pleasure, and in later times was used for schools of divine wisdom and divine art. Could these monuments be those that Rudolf Steiner is talking about here? Here, the local caretaker of the site gave me a personal tour of the waka known as Condor Kaka. Here he shows me what he says is a large condor formed into the stone, but the head has been broken off, probably by the Spanish who saw these structures as the work of the devil. Although the Spanish could not destroy all of these wakas, as they are found everywhere, especially in the Chinchero area, they focused on destroying the heads of the animals so that they would lose their powers, especially over the worshippers of these stones. Below both of these wakas, we find this unusual stone. There is no discernible animal forms here, just these strange rectangular and triangular impressions on level tiers. These formations in the stone look as if someone pressed solid shapes into putty. Is that what happened here? Also, why did they put these shapes there? Was it just for joy and pleasure, as Steiner indicated? Or did the forms in the stone hold some unknown function, maybe energetic? Although many have speculated that these vestiges were remnants from some industrial process, or that the hollows held some type of machines or were braces for keeping stones in place, while stonemasons worked on blocks, I don't see any of these explanations as realistic. This is our left brain speaking here, the one that wants to find some functional or rational explanations for their creations. But there are no reasons to put animal forms, playful shapes, and surreal mountain-like landscapes on the top surfaces of these stones if this was the case. Personally, I see these structures as having been created for some other purpose. To me, it seems that the builders of these sites were more intuitive and artistic and were enjoying the act of creation. Here they found joy and pleasure in the process of mastering the elements and creating formations that reflected both their inner and outer worlds. As much as we try to dismiss these notions as unrealistic, they might be the real reason for their creations. I would love to hear your thoughts about these places. Do you think I'm off base here in my musings, or do you think there may be some kernel of truth here? One thing I do know is that these mysterious places seem to capture the imagination, not only of the creators of these wakas, but also for us moderns too. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and if you like these kinds of explorations, please give me some love by hitting the like and subscribe buttons below. Also, if you would like to send some financial support as well, as all these videos take significant time and resources, please send a super thanks under the 3 dots below. All your support would be greatly appreciated.